Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Vince and this is my 2020 Supra. So as you can tell with the title of this video, this is going to be going over the xHP transmission tune flash module for the 2020 plus Supras. This is basically a tune for the transmission where you plug a module into the OBD2 port of the car, and then you basically mod it similar to how you would do Ecutech if you're familiar with that, or do diagnostics in the car. You just plug it in and then you will basically use that little module to communicate with your phone, and then you'll use your phone to flash the different maps onto your car. So, let me just address this. You do not have to have your ECU tuned. So you can have a bone stock car and still tune the transmission. So whatever you've read online that states, you have to have an ECU tune or whatever, that is untrue. So you can do this bone stock, tune, built, whatever. So this is available for all Supra owners, Mark V ones. So you need a module, like I mentioned. So the one that I use is the MHD orange. There's also another one I can't think off the top of my head, but I'll link all of the options available for you in the description below. But the cost for that is $79 for that MHD orange module. And then $420.99 for the tune and license. So you need both of them to be able to do this transmission tune. Otherwise, if you just have the software without the license, you won't be able to access any of the capabilities to tune this, or vice versa. You need both of them, and then you need also that little module. You can customize, and I'll go over this in the sections later. You can customize all different types of characteristics of the transmission, which is great if you're looking to, pair that up with your existing mods, or if you currently don't like how the stock transmission shifts on your stock car, then here's your chance to change that up. So where to get it? There's a handful of vendors available out there on the internet that you can get it from. There's Visconti, RBTTuning, which is the company that actually makes this, so you can purchase it directly from them, or Speed Industry. Those are the vendors that you can get this from, and I'll provide the links down below. I personally got it from RBTTuning themselves, so they sent me the receipt and then the key that I was able to use on the app to basically log in and start tuning the car. So, a couple of warnings before you continue watching this video. So basically, mod at your own risk. This technically doesn't void the warranty. There's some legal jargon that you can insert on here, but just be aware that also the dealer, if you take it to get service, they could put the stock tune back on for the transmission. I mean, they can also do this for the ECU, but just be aware of that. This also does not completely remove transmission slip. I'll mention that multiple times in this video, but just keep that in mind. So if you have a higher horsepower Supra, it's tuned, bigger turbo, got ethanol, whatever, this is not gonna completely remove transmission slip from 6, 7, 8. It just remedies it a little bit. And then also, do not use drag race mode. And then RBTTuning, they also put this in their, basically their wiki, but using that mode can basically wear out the clutch packs in the transmission 4 times higher, and this is directly from them. Quote unquote, and transmissions in less than optimal working state can develop misshifts. So just be aware of that. If you decide to use drag race mode, I personally haven't used it, so use at your own risk. All right, so I'm going to kind of read off of my laptop here just because there's so much information, and I can put my notes that I took to create this video, create a Google Doc, and then link it in the description down below. So just let me know if you guys want to do that. But basically, how to tune this, I'll insert clips of me actually doing this so you can see it. Since I'm a visual learner, I'm sure some of you guys are visual learners as well. But basically, if you're using that little module, the MHD orange, you just plug in the module into the OBD2 port in your car. So fairly easy. You download the app in the App Store, Google Play Store, whatever phone that you're using, and then enter the license key. So once you purchase the tune and license, you will get those keys in your email. So you'll just enter that key into the app, and then you'll be able to access the whole feature set of it. Okay, so I can't actually figure out how to uninstall the xHP transmission tune, so I apologize about that. But basically, anytime that you are installing this or you are switching the map or any settings, you'll need to go into the diagnostic mode of your car. So the way you can do that is without putting your foot on the brake, you just press the start stop button 3 times really fast. So 1, 2, 3. And then you'll see all the lights turn on the dash, and then the check engine light will be on. So that's how you will do it. So let's go ahead and go into the app. Here you have it. The MHD module itself is already hooked onto my car in the OBD2 port. So the way that you can connect to it is by going into the app. So you can just search up xHP and then you'll see xHP Flashtool. Once you have it installed, if you don't, then just search that on the App Store or Google Play Store, whatever you're using. And then once you're there, just of course click into it. For me, I have my car already basically registered to the app, but if not, there will be prompts for you to install it. Then you'll just, of course, enter the license key that you were emailed by RBTTuning. And then once it's in there, once you register it, it'll read your car, your own personal car. It's going to have your VIN on there, blah, blah, blah. So let's go ahead and just connect. You'll select 8-speed because this is the ZF8 transmission. And then you'll be on the screen. So a lot of informational stuff on here. Basically stuff that you're probably not going to read or really care about, except for that current map. So if you forget what map you're on, there you go. And then you have your flash license and map pack. I have those installed. Then all you need to do to start tuning it is you press this lightning button on the bottom right. Then you'll see that flash button. You'll press that. And then here you'll have the 3 basically OTS maps. Stage 1, 2, 3, you have your backup of the stock tune. And then you can just go to the flash settings. So if you have like just a custom one, basically you wouldn't select any of these. You'll just go down here and then you can customize it. So there it is. You select whichever map you want. So like for example, for me, what I did was I went to stage 3. It lists out all of the descriptions that I'll go over later in this video. You press the lightning button and then you'll see apply flash settings, and you'll just press yes. And then the car is going to do its thing. And then once that's done, it's going to let you know. Then you can just turn your car off, then turn it on. Then, there's the versions. If there's an additional version that xHP released, let's just show you how to flash this. So it's gonna go ahead and start flashing. You'll get that drivetrain malfunction, that's normal. And then you'll also see on your phone that the progress bar is going. All right, so now it's finalizing it. All right, still doing it. All right, then once it's done, flash finished successfully. So now you can just exit out of the screen, and there you go. Turn on and turn off your car. If you're wanting to modify this, I'll go over the descriptions later on too. Here's how you can modify it. you can just go up on the gear icon on the top right, and then here you'll have the menu. So you can just make the adjustments as you want. Information, you just press into it, and then it kind of blacks it out. But what's awesome about this module is that it actually gives you an explanation up here. And that's pretty much it. So there's a host of features available for xHP. I'll just list them out based on xHP's website. So you have the custom launch control, drag race mode, mentioned that in the warnings, shift map editor with presets. The editor, basically what the shift maps are is you can adjust how aggressive or how relaxed or just certain characteristics of how the transmission shifts when it's an automatic. So like for example, if you edit the shift maps for the comfort mode and then you kind of lower down the percentage or the certain variables per gear, that will make the transmission shift later in the RPMs or sooner. So kind of depending on how you feel the car should go, you can adjust those values. Torque limit per gear, turn off hard shifts in sport mode, max RPM. So basically, obviously the max RPM that the transmission is going to shift at, throttle blips in M mode, gear display, take off in second gear, line pressure bump, we'll go over this again, use stock shift maps, switch off sport mode in cruise, valet mode, stop and go, turn off auto start and stop, first in M, and then coasting mode. All right, so now that we went over the features, let's go over the OTS maps. If you want to learn more about those features, I highly recommend just reading about them in xHP's website. I'm not going to go over every single feature on this video just because not all of them is going to be used in like 90% or even 95% of the time. You know, if you want more details about that, you can just read up. Highly recommend it. I'll kind of just go over the stuff that you're going to be using, what's going to affect you a majority of the time on here, so just wanted to mention that before I proceed. So for the OTS maps, you have stage 1, 2, and 3. You know, as you go up in stages, the more changes that are made to the characteristics of the transmission. So stage 1, torque limiters are removed. Basically what that means is that depending on what the calculated torque is, based on whatever the ECU reads that communicates it to the TCU, so that's stage 1. Stage 2, torque limiters are also removed. The shift pressure and timing maps are rescaled. Adjusted sport and comfort shift maps. Basically, it's going to shift sooner, so it's going to be smoother. And then whenever you go into sport mode, it's going to be more aggressive, so it's going to shift later. Then also the max RPM is raised up to 8,000. And then you also have stage 3, torque limits are removed. The shift pressure and timing maps are rescaled. Firmer and faster upshifts in Sport or Sport Plus. If you have Sport Plus enabled, you do need to have that enabled with BIMR code. It's not available stock. So if you're wondering what that is, it's through BIMR code. Then it also disables start stop, enabled ignition cut during shifts for European model cars. So that's more commonly known as the upshift fart. Stronger blips on downshifts. Then once you're in sport and then you turn off stability control, it's basically going to put the car into race mode. So late upshifting, early downshifting. So basically as aggressive as you can have the transmission behave. All right, we'll demonstrate normal sport mode on stage 3 TCU xHP map. This is without the vehicle stability control off. Still on, as you can see on the dash, no yellow lights. So we'll do a demonstration from 60 to 100. So right now it's chilling in 6th gear. So it shifts sooner rather than later. And that was about quarter throttle. So now once we turn vehicle stability control off, you'll see that it'll be more aggressive on when it shifts. So it turned vehicle stability control off, now it's in 4th gear. Same amount of throttle. So it lets it go higher in the rev range before it shifts. So now once we turn vehicle stability control on again, it'll shift up. There it goes, 6th gear now. You guys can't see that, 7th. And it'll just chill here, since sport really doesn't go into 8th. Then of course, once you turn it back to comfort, so normal mode, you press the sport mode button again, it goes into 8th, and it just chills there. So that's basically it. I personally am using stage 3 on here, but a majority of the people, even when they're on E50 plus downpipe, they will be at stage 2. Even if you add more stuff like fueling and turbo, like what I did, some people say on stage 2. Personally, I'm on stage 3. So take that for what you will, see what works best for you, and then just go off of that. All right, so now on to the most common features. Takeoff in 2nd gear. I have that enabled. So some of you guys, whenever on the stock shift maps, you feel like that the car kind of goes through the gears really fast, and then that 1st to 2nd could be a little bit rough. Or whenever you press on the gas, you feel like, you get jerked to the back of your seat. So putting in gear 2, whenever you go from a stop, it definitely helps a lot. It makes it much smoother. So you're 2nd gear, then you go into 3rd gear, and then it's just smooth. This feature, as far as I'm aware, should not wear out any of your clutch packs, any of your gears, whatever, prematurely. So feel free to use it if you have problems with the 1st to 2nd shift. Also, for the throttle blips, you can adjust the smoothness of the downshifts. So basically, where the car calculates where it should downshift based on the torque and the RPM of the car, it's going to downshift automatically. You can adjust where it is. There's a calculation for that. It's on the Wiki. If you want kind of more information in regards to that for the folks who are more technical minded, I definitely recommend reading about that. But basically, there's also 1.1 update on the stage 3 map, where they already automatically apply this. But before that, if you're on the version 1.0, you do have to, from the 3 to 2 downshift, set it at -15%, and that's going to make it smoother. Again, if you're on the 1.1 version of the stage 3 map, you don't have to do this. They already did it automatically for you. Another one is the auto start stop. I personally have that enabled just because with the gas being so expensive right now, I want to save a little bit on gas, plus I don't mind it. I know some people, they hate the auto start stop features, so if that's you, leave it off. If you're like me and you want it on, just switch it on. The biggest probably capability, feature, whatever you call it, in regards to this xHP transmission tune system is the active line pressure bump. So a lot of you guys that are watching this video that are also big power, so that's anyone over that 600 to 650 torque, wheel torque range, you'll know that once you go from 5 to 6, the transmission is going to slip. So there's videos of that happening. I think I do have a clip of that happening. I'll insert it here if I can find it. But that is going to reduce the slip in 6, 7, and 8. So basically what that does on the more technical term is that within the pressure of the fluid within your transmission, this increases the amount or the value of the pressure in the transmission, so the slip doesn't occur as often. So again, this is only mitigating the transmission slip. This does not completely remove it. To remove it, you'll have to pull out your transmission and send it over to Pure and have them upgrade it. There's stage 0, stage 1, depending on your power levels and your wheel torque levels. And then the last thing that is one of the most common features used from what I've seen so far is the shift map editor. So like what I mentioned earlier, that will give you full capability and full customization of the shifts in each mode. What that means is in each mode, as in, comfort or just normal mode, and then also sport mode. So you have options to do it in each mode. So you're not locked to doing it in both comfort and sport. You can have different types of maps in each, or you can do full custom. So again, you can adjust how smooth and early the transmission automatically shifts in automatic mode. And then you can also adjust how late/early and how aggressive it shifts in sport mode. So there are various OTS or off-the-shelf maps settings that are available in that menu. So they have the descriptions on there. So whatever you feel like you are wanting the car to perform, you can turn on that shift map editor and select the version that you want. For me personally, I am leaving it off just because I'm not trying to race anybody every single time I drive this car. If I'm wanting to have a little bit more fun in automatic mode, then I will switch that mode on and then switch the sport mode into one of the more aggressive settings. So there you guys have it. To basically summarize it all, most common features used, in my personal opinion and what I've seen on social media: takeoff in second gear, throttle blips, auto start stop, active line pressure bump, and then shift map editor. So basically, to summarize everything, it's great because the engine and the transmission can be tuned now. So if you want that full power to be able to customize both the engine and transmission, you can do that. And then if you decide to just keep the engine stock, then you don't have to worry about being dependent on having an ECU tune. You can just buy the software and the license as well as the module itself, and then just tune the transmission. And then as you heard and saw in the previous sections of this video, it's highly customizable. So regardless of you wanting to make the transmission shift smoother, if you want it to be more aggressive, you kind of want something in between, you have that capability now. And then also, for those who are tuned and have more power in their cars, just like for me, the fact that it reduces the transmission slip from 6, 7, 8, that is, I did just end up buying this just for that, because whenever it slips, and if it slips hard enough, then the transmission will kind of go into a safe mode, and then you'll have to shift it out of manual mode back into automatic, then back into manual mode, or switch it off, turn the car off and on, just basically refresh or reinitialize it. The fact that this option is available for this car or for this system is fantastic. So I've done, I don't know how many pulls already, 6, 7, 8, and I can notice the transmission slip being reduced. Again, this does not completely remove the transmission slip, so if you want it to be completely removed, you have to drop the transmission and then send it over to Pure and then choose one of their stage packages depending on your power levels. And then also, it's not too expensive. So if you're just wanting to simply tune the transmission, it's $500 some odd, which is not too bad. In the bigger scope of things, this is kind of a chip in the bucket. My last point is if you decide to get this, it's going to be amazing to pair with a built transmission, because now you don't have to worry about the transmission slipping. You don't have to worry about that line pressure bump. You know that the transmission can hold all of the power. Now, you simply can modify how it behaves. So, depending on what you're trying to do with your car and your built transmission, you know that you have the full power to do anything that you want. And then you pair that with your big boy, your big power modifications, like a big turbo, whatever it is. And then, you've got a pretty badass street car. So that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully the information that I provided in this video and the resources that I provided in the description down below is useful. I know some people don't like to read a bunch of stuff, but if you do, then I highly recommend reading the wiki. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you dislike it, dislike it. Not gonna hurt my feelings. Definitely let me know how I can improve in this video and future videos by leaving a comment down below. And if you wanna subscribe for more, feel free, and I'll be sure to keep pushing out these type of content. Hopefully I see you guys in the next one.